It's Tuesday, the 14th of April, 2026. Welcome to Light TV Main News. Quote of the day: Gratitude turns what we have into enough. The headlines: Zambia loses 200 million United States dollars fuel relief revenue. Health Minister assures left out workers of review. Lumpuma Mukutuma Road set to boost local economy. And Copper Queen's take on Brazil. With the news in detail, my name is Joel Chisompola. Zambia has lost an estimated 200 million United States dollars in tax revenue after implementing fuel relief measures aimed at cushioning citizens and businesses from rising energy costs. Minister of Finance Situmbeko Musokotwane disclosed this while speaking at the spring meetings of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank Group. Dr. Musokotwane says government suspended excise duty and zero-related value-added tax on petroleum products to ease the impact of escalating fuel prices triggered by the Middle East conflict. He notes that while the intervention has provided much-needed relief, it has come at a significant fiscal cost, with the Treasury forfeiting about 200 million United States dollars in potential revenue. Addressing delegates at the IMF Africa Fiscal Forum, the minister warned that African economies risk facing an energy crisis within the next 12 months if the situation in the Gulf region persists. He says such a development could drive inflation higher, increase production costs, and put further pressure on already constrained national budgets. Dr. Musokotwane has since called for a shift in fiscal policy, urging African governments to move from short-term crisis responses to long-term economic transformation. He emphasized the need to boost productivity, strengthen energy security, and build resilient economies, adding that Zambia is implementing reforms to improve public spending efficiency and promote targeted social investments. The minister further stressed that Africa must address its limited productive capacity and use fiscal policy strategically to drive industrialization and enhance global competitiveness. And Dr. Musokotwane says the continent's future depends on building long-term economic resilience rather than responding to recurring shocks. The Consortium of Civil Society Organizations for Governance and Constitutionalism has launched a shadow delimitation report analyzing the allocation of Zambia's 70 new constituencies. Presented by Vice Chairperson Solomon Ngoma in Lusaka, the report calls for a transparent and scientific approach to constituency delimitation. The study uses a weighted composite index based on population, land size, density, and development factors. It proposes an equitable distribution model to guide public understanding of the process. The consortium says the report is meant to support, not replace, the Electoral Commission of Zambia's mandate.
We therefore encourage all political parties in Zambia to institutionalize irregular inter-party elections and, where possible, to engage independent electoral bodies to oversee such process. Doing so not only improve internal governance, with which we feel political parties also contribute to the overall consolidation of democracy in the country. The consortium remains committed to discharging its mandate with impartiality and professionalism, and will continue to monitor the process through to the conclusion of the General Assembly and the announcement of final results. And we wish to repeat that political parties that have not done their inter-party elections, in the future, or those that have already done, in the future, it is important to avoid conflicts that civil society organizations or lawyers or any or church mother bodies are invited to conduct such inter-party elections to promote internal democracy, like what the UPND have done. The report that we have just launched was adopted and signed by Acton Institute for Policy Analysis Center for Peace Research and Advocacy, the Center for Protection of Human Rights and Advance for Democracy, Community Action Against Political Violence, Governance, elections, advocacy, research services, gears. Ubuntu Loyal Homes for Orphans and Disadvantaged. The Southern African Center for Constructive Resolution of Disputes. The Zambia Center of Transparency and Responsible Leadership. The Zambian Civil Liberties Union. I thank you.
Government has reaffirmed its commitment to transforming Zambia's tourism sector through education reforms and skills development. This follows the fourth Travel, Hospitality and Tourism Education Summit held at the Mulungushi International Conference Center, which brought together 4 cabinet ministers: Minister of Education Douglas Siyakalima, Minister of Tourism Rodney Sikumba, Minister of Labor Brenda Tambatamba, and Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry Chipoka Mulenga. The summit, attended by international stakeholders including UN Tourism, focused on aligning the education system with industry demands to drive job creation and sustainable growth. Minister Siyakalima says government has introduced travel and tourism as a standalone subject under the 2023 curriculum framework, aimed at equipping learners with practical skills and enhancing employability. He has since directed the establishment of tourism clubs in schools and called for enhanced teacher training. Meanwhile, Minister Sikumba says the tourism sector currently supports over 159,000 jobs and has described the summit as a critical platform for addressing skills gaps. He has announced progress on the Mukumi International Academy for Tourism and Hospitality Studies, being developed in partnership with UN Tourism.
Main crusade to transform our economy and create the much needed jobs across the nation. And tourism, amongst other 3 ministries that have been prioritized, is one where today we bring the agenda that has been anchored in one way. That coordination that has been spoken about is anchored in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security through the Skills Advisory Committee that sits at the Ministry of Labor, that brings the various stakeholders, the interministerial body that sits there to ensure that employment and employability is given due attention. So I want to say that the agenda we are here for today, to ensure that we narrow the skill gap, or rather we do away with the skills mismatch, is indeed what will bring about that economic transformation and job creation agenda. Indeed, training must be relevant. And so the training institutions so important that come with the Ministry of Education and indeed the Ministry of Technology and Science. So these are all contributors to what the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry is looking for out there with that agenda, aggressive agenda that the minister seated next to me is carrying to ensure that industry grows, and that industry is competent, and that there is excellency or productivity that will get us to realize that agenda of growing our GDP. So,
the Minister of Defense, Honorable Ambrose Luigi Lufuma, has officially opened the 9th General Assembly of the Organization of Military Sports in Africa at the Zambia Air Force Banquet Hall in Livingstone. The high-level gathering has attracted delegates from more than 20 African countries, reflecting strong continental participation in military sports development. The Ministry of Defense is hosting the international meeting, which is expected to run until the end of the week, focusing on strengthening cooperation and sportsmanship among African armed forces.
As Zambia, for the very first time, the annual general meeting of the Organization of Military Sports in Africa. On behalf of the government, the Department of Zambia, the President of the Department of Zambia, myself, who has the Defense Center as the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Force, and on behalf of the people of Zambia, I extend the warm and welfare and the welcome to all of the distinguished who have traveled from across our continent to be part of this important gathering.
Health Minister Dr. Alex Katakwe has assured health workers who were left out of the recent recruitment exercise that government will review the process to address concerns over fairness. Speaking in Solwezi at the Northwestern Province Health Office, the minister acknowledged frustrations among law-serving volunteers who were not selected despite years of service. He noted complaints from across the country that some general worker positions were filled by people from other provinces instead of local volunteers. Dr. Katakwe said this goes against guidance that lower-level positions should prioritize local applicants where possible. He has since announced plans to engage the Civil Service Commission and PSMD to harmonize and improve the recruitment system.
We do understand that each time we have names of successful applicants for the health sector released, there are always mixed feelings. Those who receive it with joy and happiness because they've been selected, others receive it with mixed feelings because they've been left out. Indeed, those are normal reactions. I just gave an example that my own daughter was left out, and yet I'm the Minister of Health, and crying. And that is not just one example. So many calls have been coming, people crying that I've been left out. I've been volunteering for so many years, left out of the recruitment. I'm a general worker and I've been left out. I've worked for 8 years and I'm not considered on the recruitment. We have only seen even the general workers in a health facility coming from elsewhere, other provinces. And these are normal observations, and genuinely so, because we cannot have a position of a general worker, a cleaner, a watchman being recruited, but coming from a different province, not only for Northwestern, and this is happening across the country. We find a general worker who has been volunteering or just as a casual at Chipata General Hospital. But when it comes to actual recruitment for general workers, you find somebody coming from the Copper Belt going to fill up that gap or that position of a general worker. So this is not really good at all.
We take a set of commercials. I'll be right back.
very welcome to Kisha Classic Couture, where style meets affordability. We have great quality clothes, slippers, speak of anything you would like to wear, we have it here. We are located in Avondale Small Market near the complex. You can reach us on 09735000044 on WhatsApp. Then for Instagram or Facebook, you can search for Kisha Classic Couture. We have nice clothes that you will love at affordable price. Then for delivery, we do deliver within Lusaka and outside Lusaka. Outside Lusaka, we use couriers such as Platinum. So please come through. We deliver countrywide. Then within Lusaka, we use bikes to deliver. So we are able to reach you anywhere, wherever you are. We are able to reach you.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. We continue with the news. The construction of the Lumpuma-Mukutuma Road in Lufanyama district is expected to deliver significant economic and social benefits to the area and surrounding communities. Minister of Infrastructure and Urban Development, Charles Milupi, says the project will improve connectivity within the district and enhance access to major economic centers. He adds that the road will boost agricultural production as it will enable farmers to transport their produce more efficiently to the market, thereby reducing transport costs and increasing household incomes. Copperbelt Province Minister, Honorable Elisha Matambo, says the improved road network will stimulate local economic activity and contribute to improved livelihoods for farmers and other residents in the area.
We have awarded a contract to a company called China Jiangsu for a full rehabilitation of that road to bituminous standard, that means to tar standard. In our view, that area is very, very important. But even before I talk about a particular area, the whole of the copper belt is very, very, very important. Both historically and even at present. Historically, Zambia is what it is because of the copper belt. But it's not just Zambia. If you go back into the days of the Federation, countries like Zimbabwe, towns like Harare, Salisbury. It's what it is because of what was coming from the minds of Africa. That's how the Federation was started. So we are always thankful to the indigenous people who were in this place because they offered their land where we extracted, as government successive governments extracted minerals that have been used to develop the whole country and beyond. Presently, Copperbelt continues to be a major contributor to the economy of this country. That is why, as the new dawn government of President Hakainde Hichilema, a lot of emphasis was placed on the Copperbelt in terms of what was in the manifesto, what was being promised was he to become president of the country. That's before 2021. In assuming office, I think he has lived to his words. Copperbelt is about mines. because mining operations, various towns have gone down, without exception. If you look at Luanshya was becoming a ghost town.
The Non-Governmental Gender Organizations Coordinating Council, NGOCC, has welcomed the enactment of the Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Act No. 4 of 2026, describing it as a major milestone in the fight against gender-based violence. NGOCC says the new law, which makes offenses such as defilement, rape, and incest non-bailable, will strengthen Zambia's legal response to sexual violence and protect survivors. The organization says the amendment will help prevent suspects from interfering with investigations or intimidating witnesses, thereby improving justice delivery. NGOCC has since urged government to complement the law with fast-track GBV courts to ensure timely prosecution of cases. Permanent Secretary Mr. Thabo Kawana has paid a courtesy call on Kasama District Commissioner. During the visit, Mr. Kawana advised media houses and radio stations to ensure they broadcast accurate and factual information. He cautioned against airing content that could cause discomfort or spark unnecessary tension in the country. He emphasized the importance of responsible journalism in maintaining peace and unity.
Our coming to Northern Province today is part of our efforts going around the country in all the provinces to ensure that in line with our mandate, we are able to meet the stakeholders of that which we do, which is disseminating information to the public. Now, the information that we disseminate to the public is not just a given, but it is factual information, void of misinformation and disinformation. And that is why it is important for us to get onto the ground and engage with the media houses so that we are able to agree with one another that the information we give the Zambian populace is also, number two, in line with the conditions of the license which they obtained from the broadcaster. We are from the regulator. We are in a time when elections are around the corner, and therefore there are a lot of overzealous people that will take to the airwaves and say a lot of things that may not form part of the whole agenda of uniting the country.
Lundazi senior resident Fletcher Mpande has raised concerns over the recent recruitment of civil servants, questioning transparency in the process. Mr. Mpande says many qualified citizens, including trained health workers and teachers, have been overlooked despite years of waiting for employment and promotions. He also questioned the criteria used in recruitment within the Ministry of Health and the Zambia Police Service, calling for a fair and open system. Mr. Mpande has since urged government to review recruitment and promotion procedures to ensure equal opportunity for all qualified citizens.
Now, I am very much concerned with the way how recruitment or deployment of nurses has been conducted in the Ministry of Health, although I was not working under the Ministry of Health. But as a senior citizen, I have seen something sinister. Well, countrymen, I have seen something sinister in that, for example, Lundazi itself, we have had volunteers in nursing, and they were told to volunteer so that in the due course after, or maybe as the government was going to recruit, they would have been given the first priority. But in this case, it has turned into something that is unbelievable. If you can check on the database of the Ministry of Health, I don't think anyone from Lundazi district has been recruited. May I know the criteria that has been used and who was doing the recruitment? I simply ask you people to check, because you shouldn't think to say that we don't have eyes to see and ears to hear. It is becoming situation. Because the names, if you check on your database, we get back to our daily mail. The names which are there for Lundazi, those are not residents from Lundazi. And why pick on people from somewhere else, and yet we have our own here?
We take another break. On the other side, join me for sports and international news.
Hello, this is Coach Malaji at Christ Life. We are excited to announce our April holiday swimming program. This program is a learn to swim program, and we are inviting all ages starting from 5 years to adults. To those who can come and swim, swimming is a very important skill to learn. Imagine yourself being on a boat cruise, and then that boat cruise capsizes. You don't know how to swim. How can you save your friend, yourself? So come here at Christ Life and learn how to swim. Swimming is a very important skill. Swimming is also an exercise. It starts from the toes all the way up to your head. So we are inviting everybody of all ages, starting from 5 going all the way up to adulthood. It doesn't matter if you're an old person, you can learn how to swim. So the swimming program is not limited to April only. We can accommodate you at a longer period. For example, May and this other coming few months. And those who are busy with other programs, for example, you are going for holiday, you are going for work, we can accommodate you in a flexible time, like during the weekend, after working hours from 15 to 17. Our program is a one-to-one swimming program, whereas you have your own coach coaching you one-to-one. So basically, those coaches are qualified coaches, and they'll be with you in the water. There's nothing like you're training on your own. You'll be advised when to move from the shallow end to the deep end.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. We continue with the rest of the news. In sports news, the Copper Queens return to action at the Pantanal Arena in Cuyaba this evening, Wednesday morning in Zambia, where they first host Brazil in their second match of the FIFA Series tournament. Brazil go into the fixture full of confidence after a 5-1 win over South Korea, while Zambia are seeking a strong response following a 4-0 defeat to Canada in their opening game. Zambian coach Charles Halubono has a boosted squad with several foreign-based players now available, adding depth and competition across all departments. Skipper Barbara Banda is expected to lead the attack alongside Priska Chilufya and Mercy Chipasula, while the squad also includes exciting young talents such as Agnes Piri and Ngosa Chabwe. In defense and goal, competition remains tight with several players vying for starting places as Zambia aims to bounce back. Brazil, meanwhile, will look to their attacking strength, including Caroline and Eri Borges, after a dominant opening performance. Kickoff is at 21 hours local time, 3 3 hours Central African time, with the match streaming live on FIFA Plus. In international news, Hamas has rejected a proposed disarmament framework linked to the second phase of a US-led Gaza peace plan, according to a senior Palestinian official. The proposal, presented by US-led peace envoy Nikolay Mandelov, outlines demilitarization of armed groups as part of efforts to move the ceasefire deal forward. However, Hamas has insisted it will not engage in phase 2 talks until Israel fully implements the first phase of the agreement, which included prisoner swap exchanges and partial troop withdrawal. Israel, meanwhile, maintains that progress on Hamas disarmament is necessary before advancing further. The ceasefire brokered under President Donald Trump's peace initiative has stalled amid ongoing disagreements over the next steps. That note brings us to the end of the main news. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Zambia loses 200 million United States dollars fuel relief revenue. Health Minister assures left out workers of review. Lumpuma Mukutuma Road set to boost local economy. And Copper Queen's take on Brazil. Thank you for tuning in.